Hey, I'm Jake, and this is your third Yoga for Dudes class in the free series, and today we'll work alignment of the shoulders and opening up your upper back. Come onto your mat. You're going to start right into tabletop. Okay, line yourself up with your wrists straight across and the center of your wrists under your outer shoulders. And for us guys, that might mean your first or even your first two fingers could go clear off your mat. Okay, so don't be limited by the parameters that your mat creates. Especially for us as dudes, if you have broader shoulders, this will often mean that your at least first pinky finger or both pinky and ring finger are off the mat. Okay, so just be really clear on that alignment. And inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your spine. Twice more, big breath in, and exhale, round. This inhale, find a neutral spine and pelvis. Just lengthen through the sides of your body from your hip all the way up through your underarm. Keep your shoulders even with the base of your neck, and exhale here, hold it. Okay, and when you exhale, you'll feel a natural tone across your upper back. Okay, and step back for plank, big breath in, legs straight. Start your exhale, bend your elbows for low plank. Lower your hips to the floor, point your feet for a Cobra. Inhale, pull yourself towards the front edge of your mat. Okay, bend your knees, bend your elbows enough to keep your shoulders back. And exhale, roll over the knees for tabletop. And just make sure your hands are aligned. Okay, flatten them out for a dog. Down dog. Should be long enough in your stance after doing that push-up sequence. Feet at least inner hips width apart. It's about 3 to 4 inches apart. Bend your knees enough to get your low back to lift. And then in your upper body, you're going to bend your elbows towards the side walls. Angle your elbows forward to feel your upper back smoke and engage. Okay, you want to keep that power in your upper back and just slowly push your arms back to straight. Okay, we'll do that twice more. Bend your elbows towards the side walls. Angle them forward. Your upper back and shoulders should fire. Keep that and slowly push the floor away. Okay, once more. It's like flossing for your shoulders. Arms straight. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. You can step or walk to the front of your mat. Feet hips width apart, bend your knees enough to touch. Inhale, halfway up, legs straight. Okay, hands as high up on the shins as you need to feel an extension. And exhale, bow forward, touch the floor. Inhale, arms overhead, come up to stand. And exhale, arms in at your side. Deep breath in, reach your arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, legs straight, tilt your gaze slightly forward. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Okay, and bend your elbows just far enough away from your body to keep your shoulders plugged back. So you lower. Okay, this time all the way down on the floor. Point your feet, bring your arms alongside your body. Spin your palms towards the floor, come out of your fingertips to muscularize your arms. Set your shoulders up and lift up for locust. Arms up, shoulders lift, legs lift. Go for no bend in the knees, reach back through your feet. And exhale, flatten your hands by your ribs. Tops of feet down, inhale, Cobra, slide forward. Exhale, roll over your knees. Okay, adjust hands as you need, straight across for down dog. Okay, spread your fingers wide. Flatten the entire perimeter of your hands evenly. Grip your fingertips as if you're palming a basketball. And shift your weight forward in your hands enough to nail down your index knuckle part of your grip. And you'll know you've shifted your weight enough because you'll feel your forearms start to really work. All right, inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, step or walk to the front of your mat. Feet straight, inhale, halfway up, legs straight. Hands on your hips, shoulders back. And stand. All right, just want to show that alignment of the hands is so important because you do it so frequently in yoga. And the more you do it, the more important it is that you do it correctly. And so you're just gonna stand with your arms straight out in front of you, okay, like an air plank. Air plank. And as you exhale, bend your elbows like a push-up or chaturanga. Okay, now squeeze your elbows in towards your ribs. Squeeze them a lot. Okay, notice how this rounds the head of your humerus bone. Okay, your shoulders. Okay, this is a real bummer. Okay, and then if you do this weight bearing, all these push-ups like this, it's like doing computer pose or slouch. And while you're weight bearing, it's like a double whammy for your shoulders. Okay, so make sure, go ahead and reach your arms out again. And as you exhale, bend your elbows now for a push-up, and elbows just wide enough to keep your head of your arm bones plugged back. All right, and if you're stronger, for us guys, that might mean your elbows come significantly further away from the ribs than you might think. Okay? Okay, then in Cobra, go ahead and reach your arms out again and turn your hands in. I'll go this way. Okay, turn your hands in. Okay, notice how that tends to round, again, your shoulders, then rotate your hands out. Notice how that tends to screw your arm bones into their shoulder sockets. Okay, so in Cobra, you might have to rotate your hands out just enough to nail down the index knuckle part of your hand and keep your shoulders back. So the position of the hands could be slightly different between Cobra and Down Dog. Let's give it a shot. Okay, stand at the top. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Touch the floor. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, hands to the mat, plank pose. Here we go. Legs straight, wrists under your shoulders. Exhale, bend your elbows just far enough away from your body to keep the shoulders set back. Keep them back. Lower your hips to the floor. Point your feet. For Cobra, inhale, come on up. And just notice if that index knuckle gets light or lifts up. You want to rotate your hands out just enough. It could just be slightly, okay, to nail that index knuckle down and keep your shoulders back. Okay, you don't want to force your arms straight at the expense of your shoulders rounding. Okay, you don't want to turn your hands in because your shoulders will round, right? Roll over the knees. Okay, readjust hands straight across. Down dog. Bend your knees enough to release your back. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and step or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway up, hands on your hips, shoulders back. Come up to stand. Right, bring your feet to touch, legs touch. Interlace your fingers, swing your palms forward. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Okay, watch your front ribs are going to want to pop up. Soften them down like a sit-up. Lean to your right. Hips and chest square to the front. Come back to center and lean left. Hips to the right. Weight in the heels. Hips sit back over your ankles. Okay, back to center. Unhook. Bow forward. Step your feet apart. In this style, at least one fist width apart. Okay, at least. And if you need more space, go wider. Okay, bend your knees enough to touch. Weight in your right foot. Step your left foot way back. For a lunge, bend your front knee right over your ankle. Make sure your back foot's vertical. Come up, hands on your hips. Root to your right heel to get grounded. It's okay to look down and keep your balance. Okay, then lift your torso up. Bend your elbows, like I surrender. Okay, as if you had a hold of a pull-up bar. Engage your arms, pull yourself up. Bend your elbows, shoulders back, chest up. And then keep that and just straighten your arms out, palms forward. Create a lift out of your back and open up your chest. You slowly look up as you're balanced. Exhale, hands to the mat and step forward. Second side, weight in the left foot, right foot back for lunge. Okay, hands on your hips, bend your left knee deeply. Square your hips to the front. Okay, it's okay to look down for balance and bend your elbows. Like you have a hold of a pull-up bar. Engage your arms, and pull yourself up. Elbows down. Power up your back leg, chest lifts. And then you can re-straighten your arms as straight as they'll go. Palms forward. Up. Louie's here, my dog. You can tilt your gaze up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Down dog. Yeah, Louie joins me often. Today he wanted to lie over there, but now he's speaking to me. Let's see. Inhale, plank. Legs straight, lower down. All the way down to your mat. Okay, point your feet. You're gonna come onto your fingertips. Hands a little wider than your mat. Okay, wrists under your elbows. Okay, and Gecko Pose. Cobra on fingertips. Inhale, claw your chest forward. Elbows wide for this one, shoulders back. And you come out of this one, pull forward to lengthen your back. Come on down. Okay, flatten your hands by your ribs. Tuck your toes under, kneecaps lift. Plug your arm bones back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, come to the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend your knees and step or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway up, legs straight, hands to your hips. Okay, shoulders back and stand. Okay, step your feet as wide as your mat. Feet straight. Okay, and clasp your hands behind your back. And I want to clasp right at your sacrum. Bend your elbows. And as you inhale, pull up with your arms until your shoulders are even with the base of your neck. Okay, that's how you know they're in the right spot. Okay, you never want to collapse your shoulders down. And then set your shoulders back, arms straight. Bow right down the middle. Okay, if your shoulders are stronger, you're going to want to unclasp, either hold a strap or a towel, or do air strap like I'm showing. Get as spacious as you need to get those shoulders back. And bend your knees as much as you have to release your back. Okay, unclasp. Touch the floor in front of you. Okay, wiggle your feet, inner hips width apart. And weight in your right foot, step your left foot way back for a low lunge. Point your back foot and pat up the knee if you need. Fold up the edge of your mat. Use a towel or a blanket. And hands on your right thigh. And for this lunge, bend your front knee beyond your ankle. Square your hips to the front. Bend your elbows. Engage your hands like you're doing a pull-up. Bend your elbows down. Lift your chest up. Lift your low back up. And only so much as it feels good on the low back. You can look up, straighten your arms. Ears in line with your arms. Watch you don't crank your head back. And your neck's in line with your spine. Okay, exhale, hands to the floor. Okay, and tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. Step forward. Switch sides, left foot forward, right foot back. For low lunge, point your back foot. Hands on your left thigh. You bend your left knee past your ankle for this one. So far as your hips stay square and your left heel stays rooted. And then bend your elbows, engage your arms. Like you got a grip on a pull-up bar. If you don't like pull-up bars, like a jungle gym, pulling yourself up. Chest open, shoulders back. Okay, now keep that, just straighten your arms, palms forward. Think get tall, and only so far as it feels good in the low back. You can open up your chest and upper back. Okay, hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. Step forward and bow. Lift halfway up. Hands on your hips. Shoulders back. Come up and stand. Right. And take a wide stance on your mat. Okay, and reach your arms out. Make sure your ankles are underneath your wrists. And turn your right foot towards the front edge of your mat. Bend your right knee deeply for warrior two. And look towards the wall you're facing, the wall to your left. Reach your arms out in front of you and point your thumbs up and plug your shoulders straight back in their shoulder sockets. Show the arm bones in their shoulder sockets. And then keep that Put your arms back out. Okay, and reverse your warrior. Spin your right palm up, lean back. Touch your back leg with your left hand. Crescent your spine back, look up. And warrior two. And side angle, right elbow on your right thigh, left arm by your ear. Spin your chest towards the ceiling. You can use your right forearm against your inner knee like a lever to spin your chest open. Okay, come on up. Straighten your right leg. Right foot in, left foot out. Okay, warrior two, same pose, second side. Okay, and this side, go ahead and turn your chest towards the wall you're facing. Spin both palms up. Okay, notice your elbow creases. You want them pointing up. And do your best to try to keep them spiraling up even as you spin your palms back down. So you rotate your upper arms back into their shoulder sockets. Okay, for side angle, left elbow on your left thigh. Right arm by your ear. Swing your left hand towards the floor. Use your forearm to turn your chest open towards the ceiling. Look up. Okay, come on up. Hands on your hips. Straighten both legs. Turn your feet towards the wide edge of your mat. Bow right down the middle. Touch the floor in front of you. Hey, bend your knees enough to touch the floor. Bend your knees enough to clear your back. Okay, so far as you feel, releasing your back. You can straighten your legs out and fold. Okay, lift halfway up, hands on your hips. You shorten your stance. Bend your knees enough to come up. Okay, turn to the front, step two, the top of your mat. Okay, weight in your left foot. Bend your right knee for tree pose. Place your right sole of foot above or below your knee. And bring your hands to touch. As you're steady, press the foot against the leg against your foot to keep a lift in your back. And then as you're steady, reach your arms up. As you're balanced there, you slowly open your chest up, slowly look up. You swing your arms back alongside your ears. Watch you don't throw your head back. Okay, hands back to center. Okay, and second side, step down. And weight in the right foot, bend your left knee. Place your left sole of foot, tree pose. Hold your center, hands touch at your center. As you're steady there, arms reach up. As you're balanced, you can open up, shift your gaze up towards the ceiling. Okay, falling is probable, you just get back in. Okay, hands to center, step down. Right, feet as wide as your mat. Turn your feet out towards the side walls. Bend your knees deeply. Press your triceps against your inner knees. Press your inner knees against your triceps to create a lift in your back. Okay, and breathe right here. Step two, place your hands. Pointer fingers straight forward. Okay, then if you're good here, step three, keep your knees glued against your arms. Lift your butt up. Bend your elbows, face way forward. Bend your elbows a lot, chin forward. Lift your butt up, come to your tippy toes. Lift one foot or the other, or both feet. Inner edges of the feet touch. Grip your fingertips to hit the brakes. And step down. All right, down dog. Okay, inhale plank. Exhale lower for low plank. Come onto your forearms. Interlace your fingers. Elbows underneath your inner shoulders. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips for a forearm plank. Okay, don't move your forearms, but pull them towards your feet. Don't move your feet, but pull them towards your forearms. Don't let your eyes bug out, okay? Don't let your jaw clench. And walk your feet in for a forearm dog. Okay, like down dog on your forearms. Bend your knees enough to create a lift. Press down through your forearms, especially the wrist part of your grip, to lift your hips up and back. Your head's off the floor. And lower down to your knees. Place your hands for down dog. Your right knee forward for pigeon. Okay, right knee all the way to the right edge of your mat. Square your hips, come onto your forearms, and give it a few breaths for your hips to open and slide your back leg further back. As your hips start to open, okay, so long as your hips don't roll to the right. And come on up and reach your right hand back for your left foot. Quad stretch. Okay, if you can't quite reach the foot, you could use a strap or a towel to lasso the foot. Okay, if you don't have the strap or towel, just let it go completely. As you've got your foot, you can hold either side of your foot. Lengthen both sides of your body long. Plug your right shoulder back. Draw your heel towards your outer hip. Engage your back foot. Tip your hip up towards your heel. There's an option to come onto the left forearm as your quad opens. Okay, inhale, release. Place your hands, step back, and switch sides. Left knee wide, all the way to the left edge of your mat. Okay, so for us gentlemen, we've got to go wide. Okay, really all the way to that edge of the mat at least, to keep your hips square. Otherwise, the hips will tend to roll to the side. That'll actually bind or tighten the hip. Okay, come on up for a thigh stretch. Left hand back for your right foot. Hold either side of your foot. Just make sure you lengthen your back, plug your left shoulder back. It's a little twist, little shoulder opener. You can draw your heel towards your outer hip, engage your back foot, tip your hip up towards your heel. Okay, gently release your foot, step back for down dog. And lower both knees down on the mat. You can pat up the knees if you need, fold up the mat, tuck your toes under for Camel Pose. Okay, you're gonna bend your elbows, palms face up, draw your elbows back to lift your chest up, create a lift out of your low back. Every inhale, you come out of it slightly, lift up, and only reach back for your heels so much as your low back feels clearance. Okay, if there's any discomfort or compression, stay tall. Okay, as you got your heels, broaden your chest, shift your hips forward like a sail in the wind, wind at your back. Okay, as you come out of this one, both hands at the same time. Okay, sit back on your calves, point your feet. It's called Vajrasana, knees together, feet together. Reach your arms out in front of you on fingertips, hips down and back. And walk your hands off to the right. And use your hands to keep your left hip heavier. Crescent your ribs left. Look under your right arm. Hey, walk it back to center. Second side, walk your hands off to the left. On fingertips, use your hands. Scoot over so you could see. Use your hands to broaden your ribs right. Look more under your left arm. And bring it back to center. Swing your legs out in front of you. Lie back. Take a breath. Okay, for bridge pose, bend your knees. Place your feet, ankles underneath your knees, feet hips width apart. Root your feet down and lift your hips up. Lift your low back up. You can either clasp your hands underneath you or arms alongside you, palms face up. Whichever gives you leverage to walk your shoulders up and underneath you. Chest lifts towards your chin, but keep your chin perpendicular with the floor. And lower your hips down. Press your hands against the root of your thighs. Okay, and arms out like cactus arms. Feet as wide as your mat. Let both knees windshield wiper right. Rest your right foot across your left thigh. Look left, root your left shoulder down. Okay, and come on back. Second side, both knees fall to the left. Rest your left foot across your right thigh. Look right, right shoulder roots. And come on back to center for happy baby. Bend your knees, hold your shins right at your kneecaps, knees wide enough to cradle your torso. Your hold is still or rock and roll. And rock it on up to sit, please. Okay, stretch your left leg out. Bend your right knee in. Okay, right shoulder foot flat to the inside of your left thigh. Left toes point up, left knee points up. Right hand behind you on fingertips. Reach your left arm up. Exhale, twist. Left elbow hooks across your right thigh. Sit tall every inhale. And exhale, twist. Look over your right shoulder. Okay, inhale, come back to center. And second side, right leg out. Left knee in. Okay, left foot flat on the floor to the inside of your right thigh. Right toes point up. Left hand behind you. Reach your right arm up. And exhale, twist. Okay, if you haven't already, hop up onto your left fingertips. Seems like such a little thing. Okay, again, it muscularizes your arm and plugs your arm bone into its shoulder socket. Palm flat, it's easier to round that shoulder. Okay, inhale, get tall to unwind and swing both legs out wide. Feet point up, knees point up, hands behind you, tip your low back up. Okay, and so far as you could keep your legs rooted, your low back lifted, you can bow down the middle. If you go to come forward, if your knees lift, if your low back rounds, just stay more upright and root your legs as straight as they'll go. All right. So there's your third Yoga for Dudes free class, and hope you enjoyed it. Lots of shoulder strengthening and opening. Should feel nice and tall and open after that one. I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.